beautiful family. This week, in addition to Parashat Tetzaveh, we read Parashat Zachor, in which we are commanded in Devarim Chaf He Pasuk Yutet, Timche et Zecher Amalek mitachat hashamayim lo tishkach. Loosely translated, you shall eradicate the memory of Amalek, and you should not forget the nation that launched an unprovoked attack upon Bnei Yisrael immediately after Yetziat Mitzrayim. Elsewhere, in the Torah reading for Purim in Shemot, Yud Zayin, Pasuk Yud Daled, we read, and Hashem is speaking, I will surely eradicate or remove the memory of Amalek. If Hashem is our partner in this endeavor, asks the Chotker Rebbe, why has it proven so difficult throughout the ages and history to defeat Amalek and the nations that are like it? He goes on to explain, our task and Hashem's task are different. Kudsha B'richu protects us from the physical Amalek, while it is our responsibility to battle the other Amalek, the evil, within each of us. Borei Olam's ability to destroy the physical Amalek of this world is wholly dependent upon our destroying our own Amalek. I implore you, please open your hearts and minds to an unadulterated story, as the message within is absolutely overwhelming. Jake set out that morning in highest spirits as he was eagerly anticipating this morning's meeting. It was a dream come true for the up-and-coming entrepreneur. A meeting with a wealthy foreign investor with the means to invest huge sums of money into massive projects, and who were seeking the right man to serve as their liaison in Israel. On the phone, his contact had explained that they needed a talented and strong-willed individual to serve as their right-hand man, manage the project, and handle all the negotiations and bureaucracy. Reading between the lines, Jake gleaned that if he snagged this job, he had effectively become the sole manager of the exclusive project, which would catapult him into the big leagues. The remuneration, he knew, would also be significant, enabling him to invest substantial sums into his own personal deals and guide them to success. Yet to his misfortune, nothing went as planned. His car took time to start, and when he finally left the parking lot, he was furious to discover that a car was blocking the exit, stealing an additional 12 precious minutes. Well, I missed breakfast, he thought angrily to himself, but at least I'll arrive on time. The delay caused him to hit the morning traffic, but then he remembered an alternate route to the hotel. Yes, it was longer, but it took him, instead of through the residential streets, it was better. At the last opportunity, he made the sharp turn onto the residential route when he noticed a man in front of him waving his hands frantically. There's a kid over here who's injured. It's a hit and run. Jake felt his heart hammer in his chest. For many years ago, he was trained as an EMT, and he had everything he needed to assist in the trunk of his car. Yet an inner voice whispered warningly, you're going to be late for the meeting. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. It was an excruciating dilemma. Call 911, he yells to the guy. Can you help? The man pressed. Call 911, he repeated. I did call, but the kid is bleeding like crazy. He's unconscious, and with this traffic, there's no way an ambulance will arrive on time. Let's take him in your car to the hospital. You can't do that, Jake replied swiftly. You can't move a patient like that. Help is on the way. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. Swallowing his remorse, he drove off and made the meeting on time. 20 minutes into the meeting, his beeper went off, just when things were looking positive. A moment later, it sounded again. Begging the men's pardon, he glanced at his beeper and he saw an urgent summons from his wife. Come home immediately, emergency. Jake paled. His wife wasn't the hysterical type. And if she was asking for him to come home in the middle of a pivotal and critical meeting, a meeting that had the groundwork to change the trajectory of their lives, something horrific must have happened. Taking a sip of water, he mumbled some words of apology to the men, realizing this was forfeit. Game over. Game over to the meeting of a lifetime. And he ran to his car. Traffic had long since dissipated, and he arrived home within a half hour to find his wife, along with her sister and parents, heavily sobbing. "Jake!" She burst into a fresh round of tears. "It's Ronnie. He was hit by a car this morning on his way to school. It was a hit and run." Angrily, she went on to relate that the eyewitness told her that the only one car that went down that residential road yet refused to stop and take their baby to the hospital. And by the time another car had arrived, Ronnie had lost too much blood and it was too late. Jake felt a sharp pain slice through his arm and his chest. He stumbled and he fell to the floor in a faint because he knew exactly who that callous driver had been. If only he'd stopped to help. If only. All that a man does, he does to himself. All of our actions have consequences, and the choices that we make ultimately shape our lives and certainly our character. When we mimic Borei Olam and we act with kindness, compassion, and integrity, we not only benefit those around us, but a ripple effect is created, and it extends far beyond ourselves, oftentimes concentrically. Similarly, many times in haste, like Jake, we act with selfishness, cruelty, or has shalom, even dishonesty. Then, we not only harm others, but we also bring suffering into our own lives. How many times daily do we subconsciously notice a need for a family, a friend, or a community member, but not engage? Of course, we're busy. Everyone is busy. Some genuinely busy, while others manufacture busyness. Chazal teach us that engaging wisely, consciously, noticing and reacting requires us to be mindful of our actions and their consequences. It asks us to consider the long-term impact of our decisions and to take responsibility for the role we play in shaping our world. Because when you make the right decision, you become the very change that you want to see in the world. Shabbat Shalom u'mevarach. Purim Sameach.